make a tomahawk. I have a piece of leaf spring stock. This is spring stock from an Amish buggy, horse buggy. It's just over 12 inches long. I still have the hole where the leaf pack was put together. I'm going to keep the hole here. I'm going to put that in the back of the handle, so hopefully that makes something interesting. In today's hawk, I want to try to pull down some little cheeks right around the eye area. And yeah, the rest of it's going to be pretty much standard tomahawk, but go ahead and bring me over. I'm going to continue to heat this up, and yeah, we'll get started making a tomahawk. So my first few heats, we started off with a taper. Now I'm going to start to kind of bring in the shape how I want the hawk to be. And on this one, I kind of think I want the top to be top to kind of be flat straight across. Alright, so I'll probably take one more heat doing that. We're going to flip it around, do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so I got my two tapers forged. Now I'm going to start to pull down some area, so probably it'll be around 3/4 of an inch for the back of the wrap, and I want to pull down some material. Just in front of that, I'm using my cross peen here. Alright, so I'm going to take a couple heats doing this. So I'm going to continue to keep my profile. As I forge, I think you might be able to see what I'm going for here. gonna keep the top flat and kind of get a curve at the bottom. So I pulled down material on both sides. I'm just gonna go through, plunge everything up. Kind of do some straightening. Knock out some upsets. So I kind of like the shape that we're taking here. I went ahead and drew it out on the anvil so I could duplicate it on both sides. I'm not going to get too carried away with the plenishing. At this point, because everything's got to be taken over to the belt sander, cleaned up to get ready for the wrap and the forge weld. But I will go ahead and plenish it the other side here a bit. And when we come back, this is going to be all cleaned up and we're going to be ready to fold it over and get ready for a forge weld. Alright, so there's a Tomahawk body. Got it all cleaned up on the belt sander in the areas where it's going to be welded especially. So this is going to be hopefully close to what the shape's going to wind up being. So next I'm going to get it into the forge. I'm going to try to keep a low heat, so I don't build up a lot of oxidation. I'm going to get this thing folded over and wrapped around. And I'm going to use my little swedge block over there to accomplish that. so it takes some fiddling, but I found it easier to get it as close to the drift before I start doing any kind of forge welding. So it gets a little tricky, especially when nothing's set, but I fiddled around with it here for a few heats, but now I'm going to go ahead and clean up in between the two plates again, in between both sides of the Tomahawk body, and then I'm going to use my MIG welder to fill the seam here, and in the back to keep the air out, and then we're going to forge weld forward, and then we're going to get the bit in. So we get that cleaned up. When I get you back, we'll be ready to do some forge welding. Alright, so where are we at? Alright, so I got everything shaped. I heated it up. After I cleaned it, I heated it up. I got some flux in between this joint right here. And like I told you I was going to do, I sealed up the top, the bottom, and the inside of the eye. Now I'm going to forge weld everything forward and hopefully get a nice forge weld. Let's see. Okay, so I set the bit in there. I did not MIG weld the bit in. The bit fit really tight, so I just went ahead and went straight to forge welding. So that was the first heat with the bit into the Tomahawk body. So basically what we're working with is I have a, like I said in the beginning, a piece of leaf spring, but the bit's going to be a 1095 high carbon steel bit. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to go ahead and forge weld this bit in. ISO. I didn't get much footage getting the drift in there. I went to set the drift and it was already pretty close. So wasn't a lot to see there. I am kind of cleaning everything up. Put the drift in place. Making sure everything's straight. So far so good. I mean, yeah, I had the eye so close. I mean, I'm not bragging or nothing. I'm not trying to be stupid, but I had it so close that when I put the drift in, it pretty much went right up to where I wanted it to stop. So it was just a matter of doing some tippity taps and making sure that that the opening is a little bit bigger on the top than it is at the bottom. So that's how it's going to fit on the handle. It's a friction fit style Tomahawk. So make sure you have that nice little taper in there. I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to do some brushing and kind of just watch it cool down, make sure I don't have any weird shadows or D-lambs in my welds. So far it seems like it's cooling down as one piece. So yep, I will bring you back after all this mess here is cleaned off and get ready for a heat treat, and yeah, we'll see how far we go with this. I don't know, so hold on. Yeah, so it's been a while since I made some tomahawks. Not plugging or anything, but I was at Cabela's yesterday and noticed that they sold tomahawk handles, and they had them for a really good price. They were $7.99 each. They're not as nice as the ones at axesandhatchets.com because those are lacquered with something. These are just plain wood American hickory handles, so any kind of finish that's going to be on them is going to be what I put on them. So yeah, $7.99 a handle. They also had mouse hawk handles too, and of course they had the whole tomahawk. Whole tomahawks for only 39 bucks, but I ain't no way I'm gonna sell mine for 39 bucks. So I'm getting ready to heat treat. This is what we wound up with after the grind. I've got a piece of rebar in there preheating. I'm going to preheat my oil. We're going to go ahead and treat just the front portion of the hawk. Then it's off into the house where I have a preheated 425 degree oven. And after that, yeah, handle and done. Well, I got to sharpen it, but you know what I mean. Alright, here it is out of heat treat. It's still hot to the touch and the edge did harden, so we're going to go ahead and get this in the oven, finish the temper off, and yeah, we'll bring it back and we'll have the handle on it and be sharpened up and ready to go. So alright, going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Got another Tomahawk made. Before I get into the Tomahawk, I'm going to go ahead and talk a minute about this handle, which kind of set off this whole project. I was at Cabela's messing around and came across these handles they were selling. Missouri River Throwing Hawk replacement handles, and they were selling them for $7.99, which is a heck of a good price. Again, the handles are bare bone and basic. There's no finish on them. There's no shellac or anything on the handles. It's just a American hickory handle. The edges of the handle are not even chamfered. They're just like 90-degree right angle, really sharp. So, but all in all, I think the handle for the price is really nice. What I'm used to buying is the Axes and Hatchets.com handles. But the price of them have went all the way up to like $19.99 at this point. They're kind of getting unreasonable. But they are really nice handles. When I first started buying those handles, they were selling for $8.99, and then I think they went to $12.99. But now they're all the way up to $19.99, and it's just getting to the point where, yeah, they're just not even worth buying anymore. I mean, they are really nice handles. They do come shellacked. You can get them with a burnt finish, all kinds of stuff. But even when they run a sale, the sales they're running like $19.99 is just too expensive. So, of course, if I gotta pay $19.99 for a handle, that's gonna drive the price of my stuff up even higher. And it's hard enough to sell stuff now that's handmade without having to go through all that. But for $7.99, the couple things I'm gonna have to remember. I'm not gonna. These handles do run a little bit thinner than the Axes and Hatchets.com handles. So I'm gonna have to, when I shape the eye, I'm gonna have to keep the Tomahawk head further down on the eye drift to where it's a little bit smaller, and I think I'll be fine. All in all, I think at the top it took a good shape. There's no gapping whatsoever. Everything looks nice. But the way they cut these handles is they're skinny and then a rapid taper right at the end. So there's a little bit of gap right here, which I wouldn't have if this was an Axes and Hatchets.com handle. So that's something I have to keep in mind while I'm forging. If I'm using the remaining 3 handles that I bought, I just have to keep it lower down on the drift, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. But for $8, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, not bad at all. I don't know if I showed you, maybe Missouri River replacement throwing hawk handle. So it's a throwing hawk replacement handle, American hickory, 19 inches long. So yeah, they sell these at Cabela's for $8. For $8, I bought 4. It's worth it to give them a try. So I think if I adapt and change what I do, I think I can make this handle work really nice for me. And it's something I can just drive down to the store and pick up and not have to order through the mail. So about the Tomahawk, I think the Tomahawk turned out pretty decent. All the forge welds went nice. We had a little bit of a D-lam during heat treat that I had to grind past. And there's a little bit of a seam right here that I could have ground out if I kept grinding. But it kind of started to run out of thickness on the edge here, and I really didn't want to make the blade any smaller, so I kind of stopped. I don't mind looking at that. And there's a slight thing up on the other side too, but yeah, this is the worst side. The bottom, the forge welds turned out really nice. I ground well past all the MIG, so all the MIG welds gone. And on the top, there's a little bit of a seam right here that you can see, but I think I could have ground past that too, because when this thing cooled down, it looked and felt like a solid piece of metal. So, but I just kind of stopped with the grinding because I was happy with the shape the way it was. And yeah, so here it is, another hawk done. We're gonna go ahead and shut this video down, and I'd just like to thank y'all for stopping by and watching the video, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Like, share, blah blah blah, and all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.